Hello friends, welcome back to Laravel tutorial. In this video we are going to discuss about migration in Laravel, right? So we are using Laravel 9.52 and in this video we are going to discuss about how to create a migration, how to alter the tables, how to add the columns, how to modify, how to delete, and then if I going to create a relation database, then how we can do this, how to create a foreign key, index key, and finally how to drop the columns. All the things we will discuss in this video. So if you like this video, please subscribe this channel and like this video and comment me if you have any problem or if you like that video, right? So let's start. So I installed a fresh Laravel application and I created a database, that is the Laravel demo, and that actually configured into my application in the environment section. This is a .env file and I added this Laravel demo as a database and I used my username and password. That means for my database access, my username and password. So you can use your own, right? And if you go and check the migration section, so when you create a new application, in the database section there is a folder, there is a migration, and you can see there is a migration like create user table, then password reset, and there are 4 migration actually. Okay, so what is the purpose of migration? First of all, if you are working in a group and you have some code and you push that code in a repository like Git, GitHub, GitLab, anything, you are managing your code in a repository, right? And if you change anything into your database, then how you can do this, right? So your co-worker will get all the codes but not the database. So if you create a file which is responsible to create a database, means if you change anything into your database, then you can write in a file, that file actually the migration file, and when you commit your code, then you can push that thing into your repository and your co-worker will get access of that file, and simply Laravel will provide features that you can migrate that file easily so that your database will affect accordingly. So migration solve the problem for database related problem. Okay, so basic structure of migration is, if you're going to create your new migration, you can create, and the default migration is this 4, right? And one of that is create user table migration. So let's understand what is actually this. So if you just open that, you are going to see the return new class extends migration, and inside that we have 2 functions, one is up, one is down. Okay, so if you going to run the migration, means if you migrate, then only the up command will execute. Suppose your migration was not properly, means you wrongly added something or something which are not needed but you migrated, means if you want to get that things into the rollback position, means into the previous section, then you have an option to migration rollback using this down. Okay, so if you migrate, simply by default it will work, and if you want to roll back your migration, it will execute the down function. Okay, so these functions are ready. I think you can understand. So now the code section. So there is a schema create users. So when you run that migration, a new table will create, which are users table. Okay, and what are the tables columns? So this is the table ID. Okay, so table ID is by default a primary key and it's auto increment. Okay, and there is the tables timestamps. These 2 things are common for each tables, right? So this ID is responsible to create ID, and this timestamps is responsible to create 2 columns, that is created at and updated at. Okay, and others are the columns we need and we are creating this. Okay, So this is a string, means our column name will be the name, and this is the string type, means we will use the varchar type of data. And if you say to the email, then the column is the email, and this is a unique type. Okay, we can say that things also. Simply write that. If you want to create any timestamps column, you can write that, and you can make it nullable, means if there is no data, then by default it will be as a null. So same things like password. So let's migrate the existing things. Okay, so there are 4 migration. So let's migrate that things first. So our database connection is ready, so we can migrate. To migrate the things, you can do in this way. So php artisan migrate, this is the command. You can use that command to migrate. So simply enter this, you are getting the migration, that is a running migration, and you can see, if you check, there is the 5 tables. So why 5 tables? Actually these 4 migration is run. Okay, and when you start your migration first time, Laravel by default create a migrations table which actually manage all the migrations. Means if you open that table, you can see which migration are already done. So there are migrations, there are the 4 names you can see, and in this table, in the migration table, all the names are stored. That means this table are migrated with the batch 1. So I will discuss about what is batch, but before that, you can see the migration table is responsible to manage the migration. So how you gonna understand? So if you run the same command again, php artisan migrate, will it migrate again? No, actually it's checking whether the migration is already present in this database or not. If these are present, it will not migrate. Okay, according to the migration, if you check the users table, you are getting that things. So id is the primary key and it's auto increment, and you are getting the created at and updated at, and all the fields are created according to the migration. Okay, so we can create our own migration also, and I will discuss about each things. Okay, now if I going to get the database empty, means if I going to roll back, so how can I do this? Simply if you just write php artisan migrate rollback, then it will actually the rollback. Okay, means if you check this database, no tables are present in this database, only the migration tables are present, which is blank, means no migration is done. Great. Okay, now in this video we are going to learn some deep, means we will create our own migration and we will do all the things. Suppose I just going to migrate this again. Okay, and it's created all the tables, and let's see the migration table. We are getting the batch 1, means at the same batch and the batch number 1 all are migrated. So I want to create another table for my own purpose. Suppose I am just going to create a block table. Okay, so how can I do this? Simply to create our own migration, simply you can write php artisan. Okay, one thing I want to show you. So if I write these things, php artisan, and enter, let's see the available commands. Okay, so you can see all the things. So php artisan migrate refresh, that means drop all the tables and rerun all the migration. You can try it in your local system. And php migrate install, so create a migration repository and refresh, reset and rerun all the migration. So you can learn from these things and you can use this available command. Actually I use this command migrate to rollback the last database migration. Okay, so here my batch was the 1, that the reason the all the tables are deleted. Okay, so I will show you if the batch 2 is created. Okay, so let's go in the terminal, and here if you want to create a migration, so you can see the make migration is responsible to create a migration. So create a new migration file. So I will use that things. Okay. So PHP artisan make, what we will create? We will create a new migration. So simply write migration, and suppose I am going to create a block tables. So simply write create blogs table. Okay, so by these things, by this command, it's created a new file inside this database migration folder. So if you just go and check, you can see a new file is created, that is the create block tables. And if you go here, you can check there is also a two functions, that is ups and downs. Okay, one is up, another is down. So up means if you run this up command, it will create the blocks, and if you just roll back there, so it blocks table will delete. So let's migrate this first. Okay, so PHP artisan migrate, migrate, let's enter. So it's migrated. Cool. Means if you refresh that, so you are getting the blocks table, and if you check that the blocks table are created in batch 2. Okay, now if I going to see the blocks table structure, then you can see the ID created at and updated at. That means we are not created any things. By default ID and timestamps which will provide by Laravel, means these are responsible to create ID column, and these are responsible to create two columns, that is created at and updated at. Okay, so this is the simple blocks table creation, but there is no meaning to create such tables, so I need some columns. Okay, so the migration was wrongly done. Now I can roll back that things. So if I roll back, then you can see that only the create blocks table roll back. That means if you browse, so you can see the batch 2 is deleted. So last batch will be delete if you use the rollback command, and if you check here, the blocks table also deleted. Okay, now I just going to create the blocks table with some proper field. Okay, now suppose I going to create the table title, means block title. So simply write table, and this will be the string type, and here I just going to write the title. Okay, and now I just going to create another thing, that is the table, and this will be the text type, and there should have the block description. Okay, I just going to write the block description. So I think this is okay for now to start with the blocks. So simply I just go and PHP artisan migrate, and then you will get again the blocks table with a new structure, that is a title and description. So this is the text, and this is the back 255. Okay, and if you check again, the batch 2 is created and create blocks table. So if you migrate that things again, will it migrate? No, actually the last migration I migrated. Okay, in the records we can see that. Great. Now I want to add some another column into the blocks table. So I created that migration, and I created that table. Now I wish to create another column. So how we can create another column? Okay, so we have an option to create another column. So we need to create another migration for that. So simply if I just going to create PHP artisan make. If you want to create a new things, always you will use the make colon, and what actually I'm going to create, I want to create a migration. Okay, so let's write these things with a close eye. So PHP artisan make migration. I want to add some author. Okay, so add author to where I want to add in the blocks table. Okay, so blocks table, I want to create a author name in the blocks table. So if you just create it, if you just enter this command, a new migration file is created. So let's see. So these are added. So here you can see the schema table. So first, when you create a blocks table, it's schema create. These are responsible to create a new table, and if you just see add author to blocks, so it's schema table. That means it will not create another table, it will do something with the table. So simply I want to add the author column. Okay, so now just going to write table, and then I want to create a string type data, and suppose this will be the author. Okay, so if you run the migration, a new column will add to the blocks table, and which name is author. Okay, and if you roll back that thing, so I should delete the author. Okay, so how to delete? So simply write the dollar table, and this will be the drop column. Okay, these are the function drop column, and just pass the same name author. And another thing, if you create the new column, so the column will be add into the 6th position, but I don't want to do that. I want to add the author column after the title section. Okay, so how can I do this? So we have another option to do the same. So here I just going to use the after method. Okay, so after I want to add the author after the title, so simply just write title. Okay, so author will be added into the blocks table after the title, and if you roll back, then author will be deleted from the blocks table. Okay, so let's migrate and see what happened. So PHP artisan migrate. So migration is done, and now refresh the blocks table. You are getting the author. Author is added. Okay, and the new batch is also added. That means anytime we can roll back. So that migration only will be roll back. Okay, so author is added into the blocks table. So after the migration, I thought that the author is not a proper column name. I want to change the column name. Means we learn how to create a table, how to create a column. Now if I want to modify the column name, so how can I do this? So I want to change this author to author name. So how can I do this? So simply for that we have another migration. So PHP artisan make migration, that is the common things, and I want to rename the author columns. Okay, so rename author columns to the blocks table. Okay, and another migration created, and let's go to that migration, and let's, if you want to rename the migration or rename the columns, then simply you can write in this way. So schema table is the by default we are getting, and here we are using the rename table, then rename column method. Okay, so rename column, and I want to rename from author to the author name. Okay, so it will rename the author to author name, and if you roll back that things, so it will change into the previous things. So just author name to author. So write in this way. Okay, and let's migrate this. So we know how to migrate. So PHP artisan migrate, and if you check that, so it's change author to author name. So now we can understand how to create table, how to add columns into the table, and how to modify the table name. Okay, now let's going to see another type of thing. So we use the varchar text. Now I am thinking, what are the types of column into the Laravel migration? Means, can we use only the varchar, only the string or text? No, we have a lots of option. Suppose I want to create another columns into the blocks table, which are the enum type column. Okay, so how can I do this? Simply let's create another column. So PHP artisan make migration, and I want to add another column. So add, suppose I am going to create a registration type. Okay, registration type to the blocks. Okay, so this is my migration name. So let's go to the migration, and here you will get the another things. Okay, now I am going to create another type of data, means we are using the string type of data, so we will going to create another type of data. Suppose I just going to create the enum type of data. So instead of text we can write enum, and this is the column name. So the column name is registration type, registration, registration type. And here I can set the things which will be the value. Okay, so one is suppose permanent, 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 and then guest. So there are two types of data, and along with that I can set another parameter also. So if I not provide any value to the registration type, then by default we can set any value. So simply write default, and in the default section I can set the guest, so the value will be inside that thing. So simply write guest, and I can add that things. I want to add that things after the author name. So let's copy this and do the same things, write after author name. Okay, and if I not if I roll back that things, so simply I just use the drop columns method. So table drop column, and the column name is registration type. Okay, so let's migrate that things again and write php artisan migrate. So it's migrated, and let's go here, and you can see the registration type. This is the enum type of field. It's a permanent and guest. So if you just going to insert some data, so you are getting these things. Great. Okay, so the blocks tables are mostly ready. So let's now going to do something with the type. Means if I just going to change the length of the author name. Suppose this author name is varcat 255. Now I want to make that 255 to only 200. Okay, so how we can do this? Now let's go to the terminal and create a new migration. So simply write the php artisan make migration, and here my migration name will be suppose change columns. Okay, so write some columns. I want to change some columns, and where to blogs. Okay, so let's go to the directory, and you will get another things. So I can modify any things into here. Okay, suppose I want to change the author name's length, that is the varchar length, to 200, and if not provide the author name, by default I want to change the default section into the null. Another section, so if not description is provided, then it will be treated as null. Okay, so it should be, means if there is no data present or no data provided, by default it should not give error. I can set the null. Okay, so how can I modify the columns? So simply just go here and let's do the same things. So simply write table, and here just write the string type data. And what is the string type data? Actually the author name. Okay, and I want to make change the length of the value, that is up to 200, and I want to make it nullable, means it will accept the null value, means by default it will be the null, and let's call the change method. Okay, and another thing I want to do, I want to make, if the description is not provided, then it will also be nullable. So let's copy the things, means that should be the exactly same with the column which are existed into the system. Okay, and let's do the things. Okay, Now if I just going to migrate PHP artisan migrate, then you can see the changes. So you can see the author name accepts the null and also the description accepts the null. Okay, so we can understand how to change that. So sometimes you may get error when you use the change function. Actually, if you check in my section, so if you just composer.json, I actually installed this doctoring DBAL package. Okay, so actually these are the responsible to use the change function. Okay, so if you not already installed that package, you may get error, so don't worry about that things. So to install that thing, so simply use composer require then doctoring/dbl, so doctrin/dbal. Okay, so these are the command to install doctoring dbl. So after installation you can use that migration. Okay, so no problem on that. Now let's go some deep. Means if you want to do the relation, or if you want to create a relational database, means suppose inside the blogs we are going to set the blocks type. So blocks type will be get from the another table, and here I can access the type ID or something. Means there will be have block category table and there is a blocks table, and we can use the block category ID into the blocks table, and that category ID will be the foreign key. So how can we manage this, or how can we do this? So let's do some deep. So first of all, we need to create a new migration to create a category table. So simply just create that thing. So PHP artisan make, and let's create a block category table. CREAT block category. Create block category table. Okay, so let's enter this. So we are getting another migration here, and this is the block category table. So quick, we are going to do some things. Means I just going to add the table, the string, only the category name. Okay, category name, and another thing, I just going to add another column, that is the enum type, that is active or inactive. Okay, so simply write status, and I just provide active or inactive. Okay, so active, inactive, and I just going to set the default as active. Okay, okay, and there is a drop column method. So the string and enum all are okay. Now let's migrate that things. PHP artisan migrate. Okay, so these are migrated. Now if you check, then another table is created, that is the block category. Okay, now I want to access this block category from blocks, and there will have a category ID which will be actually the foreign key. Okay, so how we can do this? So make sure we are using the InnoDB. Okay, so if you use the InnoDB database, then you will get this relation view option. Means that type of database only can access the relational system. Okay, so if you using the MySM or something defined engine, then you are not going to access that things. Okay, so InnoDB is accepting only the relational database. So if you are using some different engine, and make sure you can do that thing. So simply when you create a table, you can set table engine, and you can set your engine type like INNODB. Okay, so if you provide that things, you will get your database will be, or table will be the InnoDB type. Okay, so already my table is InnoDB type, so I don't need to write that things. Okay, now let's create a foreign key. So simply let's create another migration. So I want to create a category ID into the blocks table. Okay, I want to create a category ID into the blocks table after some suppose after the description. Okay, now just create another migration. So PHP artisan make migration, and I want to create the category ID. So add column, that is the category ID, and where to the blocks. Okay, so migration is created, and if you check, so these are the created. Okay, now I want to create first the table, $table arrow, and simply write unsigned big integer. Okay, and the column name is category ID, and I want to add the category ID after the description. Okay, so let's use the after and write description. Great. Now I want to create a foreign key which actually coming from block category. So simply we can use that table foreign, foreign foreign, and then what will be the foreign key? Actually category ID. Okay, and what will be the references? references, which will be reference the ID from the block category table. So simply these are the table name ID, and simply write on block category. Okay, and if you roll back that things, means not simply we can delete this category ID as it are using the foreign key. So first of all, if you want to roll back that things, means if you want to delete the category ID, first you need to drop the foreign key and then you need to drop the column. So simply just write table drop foreign, foreign. So make sure all spellings are you written clearly, means correctly, correctly. Make sure all the spellings you written correctly. Okay, so blocks category ID foreign. So this is the table names underscore the category ID, this is the columns names and underscore foreign. Okay, and let's remove the foreign key, let's remove the column, drop column. Okay, and simply write the category ID, not this is the column name. Okay, now if you run the migration, then let's see PHP artisan migrate. Okay, so migration is running. Now if you check here, there will be no difference, and I added the category ID here. So you can see these are the references. So if you just go to the relation view, you can see this relation are added, that is the category ID and related with the block category ID. Okay, so relation is perfectly built. So I think you can understand a very good concept on migration, and still if you have any queries about that video, or if you have any confusion about anything, you can comment me, I will try to reach with you. Now I want to show you another things, means some more advanced topic, means if I want to add some unique type of key, means these are the foreign key I created. So there are another keys, that is a unique key, index key, how we can manage or how we can do that. Okay, so I am trying to show you how to do that. Suppose I just randomly going to create any index. Okay, suppose I just going to make the registration type as a index key, or title as a unique key. Okay, so how we can do this? So simply just create another migration for that things. So PHP artisan make migration, add index or key, anything you can write, to blogs. Okay, so another migration is created. Now just go here and let's add. Okay, so first of all, to create any index key or unique key, so simply write the table, and let's use, I am just going to unique key first, so unique. Okay, and I just going to make the unique keys title. Okay, I just going to show you that things, it's not means practically you will get, means if you want to create another columns you can add, right? And at the same time I just going to show you how to create the index key also. Okay, so if you want to add multiple index key at a time, you can make that array and you can add column name inside here like that. Okay, and if you want to create any index key, one index key, then you can write in this way also, no problem on that. I want to create the index key of registration type, so simply write registration type. Okay, and if you want to drop that things, so you can write in this way, and here simply write drop unit and drop index. Okay, and the column name is same, you know. So now if I just going to PHP artisan migrate. Okay, so migration is done, and let's see the structure. So title is index key. Okay, so these are make the index key and unique key. Okay, so you can understand how to do all the things and how to create a migration, how to create a new table, how to add a new column, how to modify column, how to alter the length, how to make it nullable, and all the things. And after that some advanced topic like how to create keys, foreign key concept, index key, primary key. So all the things I think I covered, and still if you have any things you want to know, you can directly comment me, I will try to help you. So hope you will like this video, and please share this video with your friends and subscribe this channel for upcoming video. Thanks for watching this video. Lots of love from Learning Points. Thanks for watching this video. Have a good day. Bye.